My name is Andy Fowles and I work for Plant Impact, a small biostimulant company or plant enhancement company based in Harpenden in the UK. Previously I was nearly 30 years at Dr Sciences as their Formulation and Analytical Development Leader for the European trade area. So I'm basically coming into the biostimulant sector with an agchem background. The legislation in the biostimulant sector is quite lax in many ways. People are finding whichever appropriate means to get things to market, and yes, people will be using the fertiliser regulations as a way of putting biostimulants into fertiliser package and getting it through the system quite quickly and relatively simply. It's okay to the point, but it means you're not really examining the properties of that biostimulant in a sensible manner. On the other hand, the agchem regulations are really quite severe, and when you think about the biostimulants, the amount going on there is very small, and under the European definition, it's a material which actually stimulates the plant's internal processes to relieve stress and so on. So probably it's not necessary to have quite such the same degree of legislation as in the agchem area, but something in the middle is really what's required. And that seems to be what's being developed at the moment, coming out of the European Commission. Is basically this month they should be publishing their draft regulation, and then that will go through the council phases, and hopefully in a couple of years' time we will have a European legislation for the biostimulant industry. Absolutely. I mean, the industry needs some degree of rigour, scientific rigour and legislation in order to really bring it up and bring the integrity up. It needs the legislation to an extent where, apart from just giving the integrity to the sector, it will give a degree of intellectual property protection to those companies. They're supplying data in, they'll have a degree of protection, and that would just be to the benefit of those companies who will seriously invest in the sector and help the sector grow in the future. So I think overall it's going to be a benefit. It'll be a cost, but it will be a benefit. Well, the sticking point there has been no clear legislation in terms of what people should do to get those compounds in. Yes, they're normally in conjunction with fertilisers, and so people will be using the fertiliser regulations. As the sector has grown, there are more and more materials almost being hidden, if you like, within that legislation, which is not truly appropriate. And you can understand some of the frustrations of the agchem companies who pay huge amounts of money over many, many years to get their registrations, and then we come in from the biostimulant sector and you can always sell it the following week. There has to be somewhere in the middle which makes sense. It doesn't make sense, as I said before, to go the full length route because the amounts are going on very small and are stimulating internal processes which are natural anyway. But there needs to be something controlling that so we know what people are putting on, how much, when it's going on, and the data is credible, that it's reproducible and consistent data and not just a one-off test with a piece of seaweed which does absolutely nothing at all. I suspect there'll probably be a list of pre-approved materials. New ones obviously will go through it straight away. Maybe there will be a renewal process when the time is up for a renewal of the registration, then it will go through the new process. There may be some sort of basic data set to review the existing ones over in advance and filter a few out. I suspect it will be a more case, if you're on the market, you stay for now, but you will be subject to a review at some point in the future. Well, I think what it's really teaching is the need for consistent and rigorous data. One trial showing an effect in one country under one climatic condition is not enough to demonstrate you've got a product which is really going to add value over a long time. And one of the difficulties in the biostimulant sector is we're typically seeing maybe yield effects of 5%. So the farmer's not going to see anything in his field until he actually gets the yield at the end of the season. Whereas with a crop protection chemical, you may be killing 90% of the weeds or 95% of the fungi. It's very, very visual, even during the season. So from that point of view, it teaches us we need to be very rigorous with the data, generate enough data over enough geographies, enough climatic conditions to really prove the effect, and over multiple seasons too, to show that effect is real and genuine, and therefore the farmer can extract value from what you're providing.